We have a bird stuck in the shop, and I already let all the AC out, trying to let him go, but he's persistent. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the ebbs and flows of business and how I've learned to be patient in business. And hopefully this helps other people who are thinking about going into business and doing their own thing. While I talk about this, I'm going to be getting a round of glue ups done, because right now we're working on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're working on 6 orders actively, and we have 3 queued up. And what's great, as a little side note, is we still haven't reached our production limit. The way we have the clamps set up right now, this is kind of like where we want to be, especially with this sweet flat, or the sweet like flattener thing that JLT sent us. Damn, this bird pooped on it though. Gross. But anyways, we haven't reached the production limit, and we have a ton of orders flying in, which is awesome. Right now at Tyrone's shop, there is a 4-foot by 6'8" cherry table that's getting stained ebony. And then there's a like half round 4-foot or something like that that's getting stained to dark walnut. And then both of those are getting finished with Vesting's LED. Damn, dude, this bird poops. You'll see it. It's a really pretty bird. It's like orange. It kind of like has an osprey head, but it has orange and stuff on the rest of its body. So I know it's not an osprey. But anyways, we have those 2 tops at Tyrone's, and then we have the desktop for Lord Necros over there, which is made out of Purple Heart, Paddock, and Ambrosia. And that's getting a gloss epoxy finish, but we're not just leaving it pour over gloss. We're actually gonna compound buff it after that, because one of the problems with the pour over gloss is that it's sticky. But we're about to find out that when you actually compound polish it, if it gets rid of that stickiness, you know? But anyways, we have those 3 tops over there. We have, I guess I'll show you real quick, this sick walnut over here. That's getting installed this morning. That's the waterfall piece to it. And we also have this 9-foot by 4-foot maple with 2 little pieces to match it. These are a bunch of cherry glue ups just to make faux beams. And that is cherry for a cherry butcher block. And then we have 3 more tops to get started on. A waterfall maple island, and then a mixed hardwood island. And there's one more, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. So yeah, business is doing really good, so we can't complain. That's actually mostly the reason I haven't been producing a lot of content for the channel as of late. We've just been so busy, and when you get tired, it's hard to like do your best work when it comes to editing and stuff. Like on that note, the video I made about this end feed table, I actually didn't spend all that much time on it comparatively to like ones I did in the past, and it's the first video that we've had reach like 2,000 views in like the first day. It's the first time it's ever happened. So that was an interesting thing, because most, like our video about the epoxy countertop, spent so much time on and didn't get the same type of traction. And I just don't know how that works, but that's okay. But since we've been like wicked busy, when I get home, I just want to spend time with Leo, and it's not, I don't know. But anyways, one of the problems I wanted to talk about, that now that we've solved it, now that we overcame it, I want to talk about it, because I never want to come off as like sounding like we're asking for help or anything, because we're not. So we wait till the problem's over with, and then we can share the experience, so there can be lessons learned by other people. And I don't even know what lessons there are to be learned necessarily, but there's lessons there. So this shop we're working in was a 2-year project. And you can see every year how much we got done. Maybe even like 3 years in total, if you count the aggregate work. But this building required us to literally put in, all of Tyler and I's labor, which is also the labor resource for the business and yada yada. And in order to facilitate the time it took to build this thing, there's 2 different periods, 2 different 2-month periods that had to take place. And that's when Tyler and I stopped. Basically, we stopped working for the business and like making money, and we focused on making the building. And so what that entailed was closing all of our advertisements and deleting them, and really not trying to accept new orders, even though it still happened, right? So let's just start it off. Let's see. Let's just say like around February or something. Whenever it lines up with the video releases. But months ago, we decided that we wanted this building to be done before the rainy season. Because every summer in our old shop, we basically got our work or our productivity cut by like 2/3. Because one of the problems in the old shop was half of the floor flooded out during heavy rains, which is bad. And then with 95, 100-degree weather, there's only so much of this hard work that you can physically do without burning out, right? And we definitely tested those limits. But either way, I just kind of knew that we couldn't afford to work on this for a whole nother year. Because another thing that's true is during this part of the summer, like that we're in right now, there's no way we're getting the outside work done. It's like too hot, too wet, and we've done all that stuff before, but it takes a toll, right? Either way, we had to get this building done. So, in order to facilitate the time for the building, like I said before, I closed all of our advertisements, and I basically tried to stop producing so we could have time to focus on the infrastructure. Well, there's a quick advertising tangent. For the way that we market, there's a two-month delay on average, right? So when we start marketing, we don't actually get completely busy until like about 2 months later, which is exactly what's happening now. And same with stopping advertising. For some reason, when we stopped marketing and tried to work on the building, we still had, a couple of orders pop up, which like 3 orders, and one of them was, I'll get to that. But anyways, there's a 2-month delay, so we still kept getting orders, so we still had to work, and then we were working on the world's biggest Purple Heart table. So that was kind of a bummer, because it wasn't immediate. So through the best time to build, which is like the coldest time, we were still busy. So then, the spring rains come, and we think it's too late, but nevertheless we press on, and that is basically when work stopped. We stopped getting orders. It had been about 2 months, and the work purposely dried up, which is a problem, right? You can already see where this is going. And then Tyler and I had built up however much capital we did in order to finish this building, right? Because, whatever it took to get in here, I thought, and Tyler also thought, would be worth it as far as production goes. And it was. However, there's a lot of risk to be taken when you're not working and you're not producing money. And we kind of had like a series of all of the unfortunate events when it comes to money at once. But again, luckily we solved it. So during this period of spending a ton of money on the building, not acquiring new work so that way we could have time to work on the building, 2 things happened that were crazy, and it could have tanked us, but it didn't, and I'll get to why it didn't. So first, we had a customer who accepted a table, which was like, you'll see it in a couple of videos, where it's like a pedestal table with an oak top. Well, they came, picked up the table, confirmed that they liked it and stuff, and then like 3 weeks later, they had their credit card just take back the money. So that was a predicament. And then to go to court with them would cost me about the same as the table. And apparently they'd pay for, or because they're at fault, they would have to pay our legal fees. But at the time, we didn't have any money to pay our lawyers up front. And even though my cousin Kimmy is a lawyer, she was busy she's like a high level lawyer, so this wasn't like a big enough deal for her to get involved, right? But, so that sucked. So that was a $1,700 hit. And then that was stacked up with the Florida Department of Revenue. They made a clerical error, and we pay sales tax every month. 2 months out of like the past 6 or something, after we paid it, they returned the money, which is on the bank account, but like I didn't catch on to it, and neither did our accountant. And so a couple, time passed. Oh, and the other error they made was some of the payments they tried to withdraw from someone completely different than us's bank account, like 2 of those. So there's 4 payments in total that were a clerical error on their part. Completely, because we make sure to pay that stuff on point. Hannah, our accountant, is such a good accountant, and I'm kind of probably annoying, but either way, we try to stay out of tax problems all the time. So this was a shocker, and they froze our bank account. Now, for sure, I might not have answered a phone call here or there, but it's not like it tells me it's the Florida Department of Revenue, because they said they notified me, but I don't remember that. So anyways, they froze our bank account with money in it, and then we had to pay them almost basically the amount of money that we had in the bank account. We had to pay them, but they froze our bank account, so we couldn't pay them. So that was fun. That stacked up with the $1,700 problem. And then and that's when we didn't have any work and we finished the building. So we were freaking like, dang. But the lesson of this is that when you're running your own business and you're taking risks like we take risks, you know, that stuff is going to happen. But if you have a solid foundation in what you're doing, like I was completely confident based off of our experience that we could get the cash flow running again really quickly. Well, 2 months quickly. But luckily, that's what happened. Look at that one. This one's impressive. Oh. So the lesson really is to persevere, advertise like crazy, and kind of like know what you're gonna do. No, not that. That's terrible. It's like I guess part of the thing that helped us was the fact that we're kind of set up on a low living cost, right? Like we both live on the same property that we work off of, and we don't pay rent for the shop. So we're able to take risks like that. But yeah, so that's the money problem that happened. And the way we came out through it was just by hitting advertising really hard. And I'm really working on a lot of videos right now, but like I said, I've just kind of hit a slowdown on the content production with how busy we are. And I'm not upset about it, but it's ironic timing because we have over 1,000 subscribers now. And this is the time when I should really be focusing on making content. And I understand that because we need the watch hours, and you know, I think we're actually like growing faster now than we've been ever growing. But between like lots of hard labor and my family, it's kind of hard to like religiously sit down and edit videos. Like I got up at 2:30 this morning. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna edit the desktop videos we're working on, or that we're already done. We're already done with the desks. I just gotta put together the video. But I just sit there and it's like the creative juices that usually flow when I'm editing weren't there. So I didn't want to do a bad job. Definitely it feels like quality is more important than quantity when it comes to making videos. And nailing what quality is tough. Especially with the confusing nature of the end feed table video, where it did better and I felt like I did way less work than I did on the rest of them. So what we're doing here is we're making a cherry butcher block, and we really make everything the same way now. As long as they don't want wide plank glue ups. If they want a wide glue up, we have to kind of approach it a little differently. But any butcher block or like this maple has 2.5 inch, basically it's a flat glue up still. But you can do what we're doing, which is making a bunch of pieces that fit. And you can kind of see here, we made like these 2 pieces, ran them through the planer, dominoed them, and glued them together. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm only going to be doing 3 rows because that's fucking fine. You don't need any more than that. Now that Tyler and I have know how we want to set it up, JLT has 5 rows here. But if you use their pneumatic press, you can only use 3 rows because there's not enough space in between the clamps and the boards to use the flattener. So that was interesting. So that makes me think that made Tyler think first, we should just have the whole back wall here glue rack. And then only use 3 rows that are spaced, a foot apart or whatever. Because that would maximize efficiency. Because that panel flattener is no joke. On the top row, you'll see how well it works. Now, do some quick math. 37 divided by 3, plus a little extra for cutoff. I don't know, we'll call that 14. Not a mathematician. Goddamn woodworker. In case you were needing some compressor action in your morning, nice relaxing compressor. ASMR, or I don't know, whatever that audiophile thing is, like ASMR or whatever, compressor. When the door of the shop was open, it was actually kind of scary in the mornings because the compressor would randomly just run. Especially when I was walking with Leo, he fucking hated that shit. I take morning walks with Leo. But anyways, the doors were open, or we didn't have doors. And so the compressor would just go off and it was like a goddamn amplifier. All right, let's see where we're at. It up a bit. Good. Do one more. I know I'm all over the place here, but that's okay. I will get better at public speaking the more I do these. That's part of the reason I do the live streams, is because I want to get better at speaking to the camera and not freezing. And what better way to do that than be on the spot and live? So, 14, good enough. Now this panel flattener only, even though it has a 52-inch fucking reach on it, it's really only good for like short, like, what's it called, narrow glue ups. Like it has a 52-inch blade on it, but it's not flattening 52 inches, no matter what the fucking width is. We've tried it. We got the 52-incher because we thought like, oh, that's gonna be awesome. It was less awesome than I anticipated. But it's fucking amazing for thin glue ups like this. It does work. We used to do this part with hammers, and JLT's favorite. It's one of the reasons they sent us this thing is because they watched our other videos where we used hammers, and they were like, I imagine cringing. But I tell you what, when they make the clamps right, they're awesome. Our old set of clamps here came perfect, and we've been beating the shit out of them for a while, and they haven't bent at all. They're still perfect. Whereas the new clamps on this top row they sent us, they all came twisted, and they look, for some reason they don't look as beefy as the old ones. This panel flattener at 52 inches is heavy and a little awkward. For anyone who's played video games, it feels like a Master Chief holding a Spartan turret. Fucking crazy. Super heavy. Yeah, the ebbs and flows of business. Right now it's flowing good, and definitely happy about that. With this last streak of work, been able to pay off some money problems we had. Been able to keep surviving. Been able to grow. And we got really lucky. Like this cherry order I'm working on right now. We've had the cherry in stock forever. No one buys cherry, at least we thought. And then this lady came along, she's like, I want everything in cherry. We were like, yes. That's actually one of the risks. There's a risk we always take when we buy lumber, right? Like, originally for this maple order, we only needed like 100 board feet of 8/4 maple. And when we ordered it, Steve was like, they sent 250. I was like, dang it. So we had to spend like over double the money on materials just for this order. But we got lucky after that one too. Someone just ordered a maple waterfall butcher block. So it's always lucrative in the end. But as far as maximizing capital for the moment, it's tough because someone could not buy any maple for the next forever. But luckily, like I said, this was an order for cherry, which is super useful. We got a mixed hardwood order, which is always nice because that's just a mix of whatever we got on hand. Actually, for this one, we're gonna go pick up some cool woods. Make it really awesome for the lady, she's nice. Another project we might have coming up, which I don't know for certain, but it's a memorial bench for a police, for a police station. Apparently, I think one of the cops died, and so they're making her a memorial bench, and it's gonna be an awesome, interesting build. So we're gonna move the metal table back in here so Tyler can work in the AC, because we all know who does the welding here. And he's gonna be doing like the best welding job he's done. And then they're having the main parts of the bench made out of canary wood, which is so cool. I'd show you, but the live stream thing's a little glitchy in here. So that's really epic. And if the job comes through, they'll be paying us to do the best work. You know, they made that clear. They're like, you know, we have this budget, which was more than we quoted them initially. And then they were like, hey, how can we make this even better? You know, because we want to spend the full amount on this and make it one of a kind. You know, that was actually interesting. I've never had a customer come and say like, how can we spend more money? But I get it though. So they're paying us to do top level work, which is so nice. Like usually a job like this, you know, like we'd have a set amount of time to like try to accomplish it in to make it lucrative. But if this job comes through, they're paying us they're basically, to use an analogy for woodworking, they're paying for dovetail joints, and they're paying for the good. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely going to film everything, just like I've been doing. I've filmed everything we've been doing. So is Tyler, and Tyrone even got a iPhone 13 just so we could start filming everything he does, because he's part of the team full time now. So I have all the content there. I just gotta fucking edit, man. I just gotta edit. But I'm a full believer in the ebb and flow principle, and when something ebbs, you just let it ebb. When it flows, you fucking go balls to the wall, flow as hard as you can. At least for me, that's where I produce the best work I can, is allowing myself time to chill, you know? I came out here and my goal is like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this, this, and this in this order, make it fluid. And I'm gonna be working on something while I talk this time to make it more interesting. That's funny. I've already started and stopped a bunch of times, so I'm just fucking sending it, but oh, now we got a frog too. The bird's over there in the corner just freaking the fuck out. whole time thinking it's gonna die. Now we have a frog trotting across the sawdust on the floor. Maybe it's a toad. Okay. Goddamn bugs, dude. Holy shit. Didn't even measure it. Just beat it with the measuring tape. Oh, fuck. Only downside to using a project as a work table. It'll stand out. Oh, that's annoying. So I guess the lesson learned was be patient and keep on keeping on. I'll have to make a proper video on that topic. This live stream definitely didn't do it justice. Oh, fuck, right, I did it again. Glued the fucking table. Not supposed to glue the table. Good squeeze. Hopefully, we're in a hole. Find out. Oh yeah. If anyone sees this, watch this. This is called the double tap. Make sure that shit's tight. Trip that. How many are there? Clamp. All right, and that's the glue up. See if I can show you. Ah! Fuck! I hate this. I cannot stand getting glue on me for no reason. Man, it definitely seemed like a lot more, but now do we have enough? 10.5. It's 24.25. 38, and we need 37, I think, so hit the money. All right. Yeah. I'm debating in my head if I'm gonna make this live stream public or not. Because I got kind of a message out, but it wasn't as well put as I would have preferred it to be. Probably not. Hello to the 2 people tuning in. Thanks for joining during this amazing glue up time. I guess since you're in here, I'll tell you a little bit about what's to come. Oh, there's the bird. There's the bird. There she be. I don't know if it got really glitched. What's up, Everyman Builds? Hell yeah. Good for tuning in. I don't know what you've caught so far, but here we have a 9-foot by 4-foot maple butcher block, and then 2 little side counters. All of this is going to be turned into cherry 6x6 faux beams. Over here we have a walnut waterfall countertop. This is the underside of it, so here you can see the C channel. The top is minty. This is the waterfall piece. We'll install that when we actually get there. Over here we have a cherry butcher block in the works. So these are 3 pieces of 1 larger hole. We build every one the same, just like this. We make the pieces, put them together. Over at Tyrone's, we have a cherry and ambrosia getting worked on. The customer wants the cherry stained to ebony and wants the ambrosia stained to walnut. Then after that, it's getting a Vestings clear coat, which is exactly what this is. And we're also working on another epoxy desk over at his place, but because he does all the epoxy work, we just let him do it at his place. Either way, I'm tuning out, going to see my family. Thanks for tuning in.